Guardians, Rite of the Nine is here. That means contest mode dungeons, new weapon perks, and shiny weapons. Well, in this video, I'm going to be covering 400 builds that have you covered to easily beat Ultimatum Mode and snag some adept weapons. Shout out to War Thunder for sponsoring today's video. Let's jump right on into it. Before we get into it, we do have to mention not swap is active in contest or ultimatum mode, meaning that if you swap your exotic, it will drain all of your ability energy. Now you can bypass this by swapping between class exotics with different perks, or by rallying to a raid banner, but I made all of these builds strong enough to bypass the need for hot swap. So with that being said, let's jump right into the first build. The first build on the list is a hybrid build, meaning that it's both strong at ad clearing and boss DPS, and that's because with this build we're taking the incredibly strong chest piece, Gifted Conviction. With this exotic, whenever you jolt nearby enemies, you gain a stacking damage resistance. At a base level you get 2 stacks, providing 25% damage resistance, and it maxes out at 4 stacks and 50% damage resistance. The great thing is that you can bring the aspect Ascension. That way you can pop your Ascension to jolt nearby enemies, proccing that damage resistance, jolting them for AoE damage, and become amplified for 15% more damage resistance and making it harder for enemies to hit you. And since this season Ascension got a buff to trigger other abilities, we're bringing Threaded Spectre as our other aspect. That way, whenever we do use our Ascension, we'll also create a Strand Decoy for even more survivability and damage. But since we also have Gifted Conviction, our Ascension will also throw out tracking arc projectiles for even more damage. This gives you some really safe and easy ad clearing potential. But we take this a step further to make your DPS rotation viable. First, I mainly like to take Silence and Squall. It does some good damage, especially when paired with the aspect Facet of Ruin. That way, the damage and size of Shatter is increased. And depending on the boss you're facing, you can easily switch this off for Tether or Golden Gun. Second, I like to bring the aspect Facet of Command. And this is huge when using Silence and Squall, because it'll give you a way to consistently reload your weapons during DPS phases. Pair that with the fact that when you're Transcendent, your grenades will also freeze enemies, offering another way to proc those free reloads. Now we have to talk about the artifact. For the most part, the artifact is a bit irrelevant, but there are a few perks that can be really useful. Limit Break is always useful to put out more damage with your super, and with the Fragment Facet of Purpose, all you have to do is pick up an orb to proc it. Then, because I like to run Threaded Spike and the Grapple Grenade, this means we can make the most out of our strand perks. Vile Weave is great for creating more tangles and making them sever enemies to output less damage. Then you can bring Disruptor Spike, so that those severed enemies will deal even less damage. And if you do plan on bringing a strand weapon, then make sure to bring Unraveling Orbs to easily proc unraveling rounds by picking up an orb or a tangle. And when it comes to weapons, since we get so much damage resistance from jolting enemies, I love to bring an arc primary weapon that has either jolting feedback or volt shot. Something like Pyroelectric is really strong because it can roll with Strategist. That way you can ascend more often as well. And that means you can also bring a strong arc heavy weapon like Queenbreaker, and then also pair that with 3 arc weapon surges to get the most out of your DPS and ad clearing weapons. And for that last slot, it's pretty much a utility slot. Something like Lost Signal is really strong for quickly building back up your Transcendent meter, but honestly fill it with whatever you need. You need more long range damage, then go for a sniper. And when it comes to stats, I like to shoot for 100 in resilience and discipline, while maintaining at least 50 mobility. And what's the flow for this build? Well, in most play, you want to start by ascending near a group of enemies. This will make you amplified, jolt enemies, deal damage, create a decoy, and even start up your stacks of damage resistance. Then you can use your primary weapon while semi-close to enemies to jolt them, and add another way to keep up your damage resistance. Then you can use your melee to sever enemies and create a tangle. And this tangle will then give you a free grapple to use for movement and damage. Plus, the tangle will sever any enemies that it hits. During DPS phases, you want to either pick up an orb right before going into DPS phase, or wait until your teammate uses their super. That way you can pick up an orb that they create and proc Limit Break for that extra 30% damage. After picking up an orb, you want to pop your super and then immediately transcend. Then you can start using your weapons to melt the boss. Meanwhile, continue to intermittently throw your grenades and melee to keep shattering the boss for reloads and proccing Radiant. And when it comes to encounters, since this build offers so much survivability, it's incredibly strong in the ad clearing encounters. While it won't beat out a Celestial build on a boss with a crit, it does offer good damage for any boss that you might face. Today's Today's video is sponsored by War Thunder. War Thunder is the most comprehensive vehicle combat game ever made and is now available for free on PC, consoles, and mobile devices. With War Thunder's all-new mobile version available on iOS and Android, you can take to the battlefield wherever you go. The mobile version features incredible graphics, intuitive controls, and the familiar massive multiplayer warfare that allows for dynamic battles between the ground, skies, and seas. You can take command of over 2,500 tanks, planes, helicopters, and ships of 10 major nations, ranging from biplanes and armored cars of the 1920s to fighter jets and the battle tanks of today. Immerse yourself in the intensive combat of War Thunder, where incredibly detailed vehicles, realistic graphics, and authentic sound effects place you right at the helm of the most powerful war machines of our time. One of my favorite things about this game is the sophisticated vehicle damage models. Individual components like engines, fuel tanks, and the weapons are all susceptible to damage and can even be disabled. Join a community of over 70 million players worldwide. Take part in epic PvP battles today and delve into the breathtaking experience that is War Thunder. With its incredible amount of content to play, this is the best game for fans of military history. You can play War Thunder for free on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, or mobile devices by using my links in the pinned comment or video description. New and returning players on PC and consoles that haven't played in the last 6 months will also receive a massive bonus pack across all platforms, which will include multiple premium vehicles, the exclusive vehicle decorator Eagle of Valor, 100,000 silver lions, and 7 days of a premium account. It's only available for a limited time, so make sure you don't miss out. And the next build on the list is all about keeping up Woven Mail 24/7 to give you incredible survivability for those ad clearing sections. We do this by bringing the class exotic item with Spirit of Sirtarachne. That way, whenever we throw a grenade, we gain Woven Mail. Now, normally this would be semi-hard to proc. However, we opt to bring the aspect Gunpowder Gamble. That way we can get kills with our solar weapons, elemental debuffs, and abilities to start working up stacks. At 6 stacks, you gain an ignition on a stick as your grenade. While this does have a 6-second cooldown, it offers you another way to gain a grenade charge and inherently another way to gain Woven Mail. We then bring the fragment Facet of Mending, so that whenever we get a grenade kill, we heal. We then bring Facet of Ruin so that our Gunpowder Gamble grenade will have increased size, making it super easy to continuously throw your grenades for damage resistance and in turn heal by killing with your grenades. And this all pairs perfectly with Stylus Executioner. That way, killing enemies that have an elemental debuff will make you invisible. We will be proccing a ton of elemental debuffs to rapidly gain back our Gunpowder Gamble grenade, so you'll naturally keep going invisible as well. And that's the main part of the build. However, I like to take this a step further by bringing Tether as our super. Now we can lock down areas and quickly wipe out mini bosses. And this also pairs perfectly with Facet of Purpose. That way you can gain a Void Overshield whenever you pick up an orb for more survivability. And while it's not necessary, I also love to bring Spirit of Galnor in that left column for our class exotic. That way you can rapidly gain back your tether by killing tethered enemies. And what's the flow for the build? Well, I like to start by using my normal grenade to proc Woven Mail and start building up our stacks for Gunpowder Gamble. Then continuously kill with your weapons and abilities to get it back quickly. In the process, you'll keep creating a Gunpowder Gamble grenade, which you can throw to wipe out a ton of enemies, healing and gaining that much needed damage resistance. And when it comes to improving the build, for stats I like to shoot for 100 in resilience and discipline. For our weapons, I love to bring a strong solar weapon with incandescent to quickly gain back our Gunpowder Gamble grenade, though you could opt for Sunshot, which is also really good at ad clearing. Then I like to bring a strong backup DPS weapon. New Land Beyond feels really good, but if you don't have it, you could still opt for any strong sniper in that primary slot. And I also love a sword with Eager Edge in that heavy slot. That way you can use it for movement, since most of these ad clearing encounters have a timer. Plus, you can block with the sword to gain a ton of damage resistance on demand if you get in a sticky situation. And this build doesn't need the artifact to be good, so bring whichever artifact perks work best with your weapons. And this build is going to be really strong in all of those ad clearing encounters. And if you're enjoying the video, leaving a like and subscribing would be much appreciated. Alright, let's get right back to it. The next build on the list is one of the strongest builds for boss phases. This Prismatic Hunter build uses the Golden Gun super paired with Celestial Nighthawk to quickly output a ton of damage on the right bosses. See, when Golden Gun is paired with Celestial Nighthawk, Golden Gun turns into one powerful shot that deals 72% more damage than all 3 of the normal shots combined. Tack on the fact that when we bring Facet of Courage for another 10% and Acrobat's Dodge to gain Radiant for another 20%, our Golden Gun will be dealing a ton of damage in a very short amount of time. This alone makes it a top contender for boss DPS, but we take it even further with 2 fragments, Facet of Ruin and Command. Now our Stasis Shatter will have increased size and damage, plus every 4 seconds we freeze a target, our current weapon will be reloaded. So I bring the Dustfield Grenade to guarantee a way to freeze and shatter, but we can also transcend because our Prismatic Grenades will also freeze enemies and auto-reloading our weapon. In most occasions, having a way to auto-reload allows you to deal more overall damage per damage phase because it's saving you time, so having this passive reload is huge. The even better part is that when it comes to weapons, you can still choose to bring any strong heavy you want, or you can opt for something like Still Hunt, which will synergize with Celestial Nighthawk to deal a bit more damage and also turning your alternate fire mode into 1 shot instead of 3. That way you can output more damage quicker. That paired with the fact that snipers are anti-barrier right now, this is the perfect pairing for most of Spire of the Watcher. Otherwise, I like to take a solar primary with heal clip for more survivability, paired with a strong heavy like 1000 Voices or Queenbreaker. When it comes to stats, I like to shoot for 100 in resilience and strength, with any leftover stats going into discipline. For the artifact, Limit Break is the most important, giving your golden gun another 30% more damage. With all of our buffs, our golden gun will be dealing 195% more damage than its base version. And all you have to do is throw your grenade and use your dodge before popping your super. Then I really like to take gold from lead. That way we can get more heavy ammo by picking up special ammo. And this can be really useful if you are opting for Still Hunt and a rocket as your DPS weapons. And if you are taking a rocket, then don't forget to bring heavy ordnance to gain more melee and grenade recharge rate, as well as more damage resistance simply by dealing damage with your rocket. And what's the flow for this build? Well, in normal play, you can use your weapons and your abilities as you see fit. When it comes to DPS phases, you want to start by throwing your grenade at the boss. That way you can proc Facet of Courage. Then use your dodge to become Radiant, pop your golden gun, and blast the boss. If you do opt for Still Hunt, then you can pop your Still Hunt right before popping your normal super, so that when you come out of your normal golden gun, you can then immediately shoot your Still Hunt super. Then rotate into using your rocket and cycling through your weapons, popping that Still Hunt whenever you get time. And when it comes to encounters, this build is really strong in the first 3 encounters of Spire, especially if you bring Still Hunt. In Ghost of the Deep, this will be really strong in all of the encounters, and for Prophecy, it'll be really strong in that final encounter. And the final build on the list is a tried and true classic. For this build, we landed back on the Void subclass, this time with the exotic legs Orpheus Rigs. With this exotic, we can bring the Deadfall Tether to gain back 50% of our super by tethering enemies. Besides the fact that tethered enemies share body shot damage and take 30% more damage, they're also suppressed, meaning they can't shoot at you or your team. Well, at least most enemies. Bosses can still shoot you while suppressed. This means that with a build like this, you can continuously tether a large group of enemies to quickly wipe them out while not taking any damage, getting back half of your super, and creating a ton of orbs for your team. And this is huge for encounters like the first 2 encounters in Ghost of the Deep, where you have a ton of enemies spawning in waves. This can be really helpful for your team to get back their supers for boss encounters, but it can also help chain supers as a team in ad clearing sections. And to take this build even further, we bring the aspect Stylus Executioner. Now when we defeat a debuffed enemy, we go invisible. Our tether and melee both weaken enemies, but right now with the artifact, you can take Volatile Marksman to get rapid kills or rapid precision hits to gain volatile rounds for your void weapons, offering you a ton of ways to go invisible. I then like to bring the aspect Vanishing Step. That way we can become invisible by dodging. And I like to take Echo of Obscurity to become invisible by performing a finisher. I add in both of these so that if a teammate needs to be rezzed, you have a way to go invisible on demand. And I also really love to take Echo of Vigilance to gain a Void Overshield by scoring a kill while at critical health, and then also bringing Echo of Starvation to gain Devour by picking up an orb. Both of these really help with your overall survivability, especially since we're taking Echo of Persistence, so that our invisibility, Devour, and Overshield will all last longer. When it comes to improving the build, for stats I shoot for 100 in Resilience and Discipline. Then I go for a mix of Strength and Mobility. As for weapons, you mainly want to take a Void weapon for the synergy. I really like something like Choir of One to quickly melt mini bosses. However, a strong Void primary with Repulsor Brace is really good for survivability. Then you can bring a strong Void heavy weapon like Doom Practitioner for crit based bosses or Edge Transit for non-crit based bosses. As for the artifact, the main option you want to bring is Volatile Marksman, which will give you an easy way to gain volatile rounds by getting rapid precision hits or kills. Then you can bring Maligned Harvest, so that rapidly inflicting volatile will create a weakening burst, but I mainly only take it so that I can boost it. That way when we inflict weaken, we gain a void overshield. And remember, we will be tethering a ton, and our powered melee also weakened enemies, offering a ton more ways to gain void overshields. Otherwise, you want to match your artifact perks to whatever weapons you plan on bringing. And what's the flow for this build? Well, for a build like this, it's stupid easy. Anytime you come across a decent amount of enemies, pop your tether to quickly wipe them out, gaining back a ton of super energy and creating a ton of orbs for your team. And for encounters like the first boss in Ghost of the Deep, your tether on the boss will also likely tether other enemies around them, meaning you gain back more super energy, but also keeps you and your team safer for DPS. And this is one of my favorite builds for Ghost of the Deep, since we have to finish a ton of Hive Ghosts, which when paired with Echo of Obscurity will mean you'll consistently go invisible. Not to mention that most of these encounters will also throw enemies at you in groups, which is perfect for an Orpheus Riggs build. Thanks again to War Thunder for sponsoring today's video. Make sure to check out War Thunder now for free on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, or on mobile. Those of you who are new or haven't played in 6 months will also receive a massive bonus pack across PC and console, including multiple premium vehicles, in-game currency, and more. Use my links in the pinned comment or video description to register. And there you have it, Guardians. We've covered 4 Hunter builds that help you get those ultimatum clears for Rite of the Nine. But if you want to see 5 Warlock builds that can do the same thing, then go check out this video here. But remember, mastering these builds is only the beginning. Experiment with different combinations and tweak your loadouts to suit your playstyle. If you found this video helpful or just enjoyed seeing a new perspective, feel free to like the video and comment down below on what builds you'll be running for Rite of the Nine. Keep an eye out for future videos as we continue to explore the ever-evolving world of Destiny 2. Until then, may the threads of fate be ever in your favor. This is Lucky Mech, signing off. See you on the next adventure, Guardians.